What's up, guys? This is the 2020 Range Rover Sport, and it is without a doubt my favorite Range Rover. You see, to me, the full-size Range Rover is a bit too luxurious. I don't want to get that thing scratched up, and I'm not super crazy about its looks. And then on the inside, it has that rotary gear selector, which I absolutely hate. And then there's the Defender, an incredible, badass SUV, but a little bit too utilitarian, and it doesn't have the luxury that the Sport has or the full size. And then there's the Discovery. Well, it's okay, but it also has that rotary gear selector, and the placement of that asymmetrical license plate, it really annoys me. So that brings me to this. It is absolutely beautiful. I love the spec on it. It is black on the outside, black metallic, and an ivory on the inside. Now, most people don't get the ivory because of the upkey, and I will say yes, you will see every little piece of dirt, every little stain, it all shows up, and keeping a type of leather cleaner in your car is an absolute must if you're going to get this color. But so many people have given me compliments on the spec of the vehicle because very few people have it. There's an espresso, which is a darker brown. There's another darker brown interior, but I don't think they look as good as this, especially with that black exterior. So the trim level on this one is the HSE. Sounds fancy, but it actually just stands for high standard equipment. That's it. Anyways, now the engine that's in this vehicle is the one that I'm sure most people are going to be opting for. It is the 3-liter inline 6 that makes 355 horsepower. If you want more power, there is a 3-liter inline 6 that makes 395 horsepower. And I'm sure you're wondering, why did I get that one? Because there is a $14,000 difference between those two engines. And if that's not enough horsepower for you, there are two 5-liter supercharged engines, one making 517 horsepower and the other one 575 horsepower, and that's the top of the line SVR. If you're looking for alternative powertrains, there is a plug-in hybrid that makes 398 horsepower, and then there's a diesel that makes 245 horsepower. In the HSE trim, the vehicle comes very well equipped, especially when it comes to safety. It includes things like adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, cross traffic monitoring, and lane keeping with assist. All right, let's talk about this infotainment screen. Now, even though the bottom screen is larger than the top screen is the main one and controls everything, and the bottom is just a supporting screen. One thing I really like on the bottom screen are these two dials. The one for the driver has 2 functions, and the one for the passenger has 3. So obviously you twist them to change your temperature on the driver and passenger side, and then you can press them for your seat heating and seat cooling. But on the passenger side also, if you press the fan, it also controls the fan speed. Oh, and by the way, the cold seat function is the coldest I've ever felt in any car. While it is a very touch-oriented screen, Range Rover has smartly kept a physical volume button. The navigation screen is easy to use, clear, up-to-date, and you can actually see the map in both the center stack, the gauge cluster, and the heads-up display at the same time. For connectivity, the vehicle has Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay, but the CarPlay is not wireless. However, there are 2 USB ports, and both of those will allow you to connect to Apple CarPlay. There's also a 9-volt socket here, and there's one more USB. It's not in sight. In fact, it's hidden away, very, very hidden, under this wood paneling for the cup holders. There is a secret compartment. You have to slide it back, and then there is a very deep hole down here, and very oddly shaped and almost impossible to get to there is another USB charger. That is strictly a charger. It does not work with Apple CarPlay. Unlike some manufacturers, particularly Porsche, Range Rover has done a really good job of minimizing the unsightly view of blank switches. I've got one here and one here, and that's it. That's apparent. There's actually one more in this vehicle, and that's right here on the steering wheel. So as a part of one of the cold weather packages, you can get a heated steering wheel. Now, living here in Miami, I don't really need that, so it's not optioned. But if it were optioned, that button would be right here on the steering wheel. Now, because the steering wheel controls are illuminated, it's easy to hide any blank switches. But if you look really closely, you can just make out that heated steering wheel button that actually never lights up. Now, on the steering wheel, you may have noticed this little diamond button. That's your favorites button, and it's configurable for up to 2 different functions. So to access its first function, you simply press it one time. I have it programmed right now to mute the radio. And that's that simple. To access the second function, you just press and hold it. And I have it programmed to activate the screensaver. Yes, there is a screensaver. Most people don't know this because honestly, it's buried deep in the infotainment. Let's talk about this backup camera. It is above average, but still not the best. In the daytime, it's fine. You can see everything. The resolution's good. At nighttime, it really suffers. There's a lot of noise in the image, and that might be as a result of where the camera is placed in relation to where the backup lights are, but it's really hard to see things at nighttime. And after looking at the backup camera and its resolution, I was okay with not having the surround view camera because the car already has the 360 ultrasonic sensors for parking, and so that's really all you need. If you're cross-shopping, one thing you should know is that BMW, particularly the X5, has a much better resolution in their backup camera, and then Mercedes camera is better because it's always clean. A lot of Mercedes now have their cameras hidden away inside the vehicle. So here's a fun fact. When you lock your car, your horn will blow to confirm that you've locked the car. However, the sound of that horn is a different horn that happens when you actually blow your horn. Does that make sense? Take a listen. This vehicle has air suspension, so it drives very well. However, you're not going to confuse the driving experience in this luxury SUV with a luxury sedan. It's big, it drives substantial on the road, it's heavy to maneuver, and I love that. Nowadays, so many brands are making SUVs with the same underpinnings and electronics and chassis characteristics as their sedans. And I think maybe they're using it as a selling point that it's big, but it drives like a sedan and it's luxurious and soft. I'm the opposite. I want it to feel like a truck. I want to do shit with it. And this vehicle makes you feel that way, and it brings you back to remembering what SUVs are all about. Okay guys, that's it. That's your first look at my new 2020 Range Rover Sport. Now I know there's some things that I didn't cover, things that are typical Range Rover things, glitches with electronics and things like that, and that's coming in another video, so be sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions about the Range Rover or any specific videos that you'd like to see on the Range Rover, please let me know. The car is leased, so I'll have it for a while. Yes, it's leased. Always lease your Range Rovers. Do not buy a Range Rover. Again, a video for another day, but whatever you've heard is true. Do not buy a Range Rover. Overall, I love this vehicle. Does it have its shortcomings? Absolutely, and probably more than any vehicle at this price point should. As any Range Rover owner will tell you, these shortcomings are never forgotten, but always forgiven. Even though they're among the fastest depreciating vehicles on the road, the feeling driving a Range Rover never leaves. Trust me, I drove my friend's 2006 Range Rover Sport, and I felt the exact same emotion as driving my 2020. Because Range Rover is a brand whose roots of emotion far surpass its roots of history. I guess it really is as the Range Rover salesman said, Range Rover is like a beautiful woman. Everyone will want her. She'll give you the best sex of your life and make you feel better than you ever have. But she will need things, and those things will be expensive. You may go broke, but you will love every minute of it. If you want a woman to cook, clean, iron your shirts, and give you a normal life and always be there, get a Lexus. To that, I had no words. I simply left the dealership in a new Range Rover. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one.